Ladies and gentlemen, I give to you a best of 7 show match between WhiteRa and LiquidRed. It is game number 1 on GSL Daybreak, a map where the Protoss generally is aggressive. They love doing 2-base timings just because it is hard for them to take a 3rd base. And Zergs, well, they love doing that 3-base max out at 12-minute roach strategy that I believe Stefano kind of created. He was the first one I saw do it, and I think it was even on this map because Protoss, they generally will be aggressive on it, and that one build is very good at dealing with an aggressive Protoss player and then can immediately punish their attempt at taking a 3rd base and just try to get a contain up, drain them out on 2 base, and be very happy about themselves. We do have WhiteRa going to be building a pylon at 9 down here, signifying that he wants to go for a Forge Phase Expand and not going to be scouting after that. A little bit odd not to see WhiteRa scout, and that can allow Rhett now to safely get up a very quick hatch. We'll see if he does scout after his Forge, or if he goes straight up to a Nexus. WhiteRa definitely doing something a little bit different, but WhiteRa is practice partners with Stefano. Back when they were here in the US, actually in Texas, they played a lot together, and Stefano actually said the more and more they played, the more and more games WhiteRa took off of him. So Rhett, he has his work cut out for him in this best of 7. We'll see what funky strategy WhiteRa can do, because he is the special tactics commander, I guess you could call him. He has the best 2-base strategies, and it looks like he will be going with a Nexus first. Has not scouted one bit. Just saying, okay, Rhett, you are a macro player. You're not going to be cheesing me early on, and I'm not going to worry about doing anything to block your hatches. Rhett does go for a hatch first, and Rhett doesn't know what WhiteRa is doing, but he hasn't seen a probe, so he's like, okay, I can get this one hatch up. I'll be very happy, and we'll see what WhiteRa can do against that, because this is something he probably hasn't come up against that often, because, well, not many Zergs like going hatch first just because it is asking for trouble. But because WhiteRa did not scout, he can't really punish this, and we'll see how quickly Rhett can take a 3rd base. He is now taking his gas a little bit early, actually. He is taking that gas at 3 minutes, so it doesn't look like he's going to be doing that 12-minute max out strategy. Generally, you wait till like 4:30, 4:45 to take double gases. Rhett definitely mixing it up a little bit, and we'll get to see what he is planning to do. WhiteRa now going to be going out to scout directly to that 3rd base, possibly, and this Overlord is going to see the probe, so now Rhett knows, okay, I got to send something down to this one hatch, but it's almost done, so I don't think he's going to really worry about it all that much. Is anything going to make the way over just to make sure nothing's building down there? It doesn't look like it. Overlord's getting into position, and more Zergs now send both of their Overlords out. You used to see Zergs, especially when a Zerg went hatch first, to just leave a Overlord over top of their hatch to give it that extra vision. But now that Protosses have been feeling more confident watching for probes, seeing when they leave, and just keeping track of them, they just send out 2 Overlords, and if there's any probes that go unaccounted for, that's when they decide, okay, let's send a drone out to scout. What this gives the Zerg is a much better job at scouting the Protoss player. We do have the probe right here trying to get a timing of that 3rd base. 2 Lings do meet it there. We do have WhiteRa sending out another probe, and we'll see exactly what that one ends up doing, sneaking around the edge of the map. Daybreak is definitely a map where you can do that, and it's actually perked its way over here, and WhiteRa can be taking a 3rd base at the 5-minute mark. This a little bit odd, as I did say, Protoss, they can't really take a 3rd base on Daybreak, but WhiteRa is just saying, I'm going to be taking it anyways before I get any units out of the map. The Zealot is going to be holding this watchtower, and if Rhett doesn't scout this, this could be horrible for him. He is taking a 3rd base right now, and this may be the bad move. He needs to punish WhiteRa like right now, because if this 3rd base gets established, the big thing Zergs have going for them on this map is just no longer there, so Rhett will have his work cut out for him. We do have WhiteRa getting a cannon up at this 3rd base, can be starting on that, getting a gateway up in front of the cannon, minimizing the amount of surface area for Lings to attack, and I think WhiteRa may actually be able to secure his 3rd base. The thing to keep in mind, though, he delayed his Cybernetic Core, so he's going to have the latest warp gates possible, and if Rhett notices that, he does. He sees that warp gate Cybernetic Core timing, so he can safely take a 4th base, knowing that WhiteRa, he can't possibly put any pressure out. But he is going to be building Lings now, try to deny this 3rd base. But we will probably see Rhett end up taking a 4th base relatively soon as he notices, oh my god, your Cybernetic Core is finishing when your warp gates should be done, because warp gates generally will finish around the 7:30 mark, and they're starting at the 7-minute mark right now, so they won't be done until probably around 8:30, 9 minutes. WhiteRa definitely getting more gateways up. We'll just be building them the old-fashioned way. And there's Lings again, not too much surface area on those cannons. And now Probe's going to be going on hold position right here, minimizing even more surface area. And there's Lings deciding, okay, well, that's not going to work. The cannon did kill 6, but the Lings do run right into the main base. And this is horrible for WhiteRa right now. The Probes are going to be going to try to run down to that natural. More Probes coming in. WhiteRa, Probes versus Lings. Does have a Stalker to help that DPS. Some nice micro by the Probes of WhiteRa, not losing all that many, killing a lot of those Lings right now, only losing 2 Probes. But he has lost a lot of mining time. Keep in mind that is 40 minerals per minute per probe, and he has pulled like 30 of them. Am I right? Yeah, probably pulled 30 at minimum. So that is a lot of minerals that WhiteRa did just miss out on, but he does get his 3rd base up, and that is so good. A few Brave Probes going to be trying to go back, and now attacking these Lings. Lings do immediately stop attacking the Nexus. The Nexus is almost down. More Probes coming in. That one Zealot has his work cut out for him. Zealot versus 7 Lings, now 2 Zealots. It looks like WhiteRa will be able to hold on, but still losing quite a bit of mining time. As you do see, that is 12 Probes. So WhiteRa has lost a lot of mining time thus far, but going up to the workers is 47-52. Ret now going to be going for Aspire, and Mutaplay could be relatively good, noticing that WhiteRa is just starting to build units at the 9-minute mark. WhiteRa, though, going for a Stargate, but because WhiteRa isn't really building units, Ling's going to go into this natural, going on a hold position. The Probe's going by a cannon. 4 workers killed for Ret. Not all that much. Going into this unit's loss tab, we can see that Ret has lost a lot more, but that's about to change as these Stalkers go down. And once these Stalkers start falling, the Mutas are going to be so vicious. However, Phoenix will be on the way. The Phoenix are a pretty good counter to Mutas, and Ret finally taking his 4th base. I think this is a little bit late, considering how late the Warp Gates were for WhiteRa. Does Ret see that Stargate? If he does, yeah, he does see this. So we'll see if he ends up going with Mutas. Sometimes Zerg players stop building Mutas when they see Phoenix, or they see Phoenix and just decide, okay, I'm going to kill those Phoenix with Mutas. A little bit odd. Both Zergs just have different thought patterns on how to deal with Phoenix. Twilight Council is on the way, so WhiteRa will be going for Blink. Keep in mind, WhiteRa has no scouting. I don't think he has an observer out. No robo facility. There we go. It is going to be produced right now. So any burrow play may have been decent, but again, those cannons are detectors. And Ret just rallying to the middle of the map with all his units. That 4th base is up. Keep in mind, WhiteRa is on 3 bases incredibly fast. And what is Ret going to be doing? Does he have a hive yet? No, he doesn't. Does he have an infestation pit to get those infestors out? Doesn't have any larva. Gotta find a hatch with larva to quickly see if he has infestation pit. Ret being so good on his macro, I can't literally find any larva. And without seeing larva, I can't just click on it to look for... There we go. Nope, no infestation pit out. It has just now started. Ret, such a macro beast. This Overlord is gonna be falling. Nothing coming out of that Spire yet. WhiteRa does scout it, so he knows it is up. Ret getting a Spore Caller in his main. +1 ground weapons finally being started by WhiteRa. Ret just at +1 armor. Both players kind of negating upgrades, but Ret is working on +2 carapace and Zerg melee attack with flyer attack level 1. So it looks like he may be going into Broodlords with that melee attack upgrade. We will find out what he's doing. A little bit odd that he's not getting any Roach upgrades. It doesn't look like he wants to stay at Roaches too long. Roaches are coming in here to try to deny this 3rd base, but look at WhiteRa Sim City right here. Even getting a few force fields, trapping a handful of Roaches. 4 Roaches there, and that is going to be a total of 5 while these cannons just work their magic. Same time, Roaches just going to be sitting right here denying this 4th base, I guess you could call this, from WhiteRa, unless he ends up taking this one, while Ret is going to be taking his 5th base. And those Zealots will be falling to Lings and Roaches. The Phoenix still just pretty much doing nothing right now, not being too aggressive with them one bit. Does he have much scouting? on? No, he doesn't. Hasn't really kept the eye on this third base or the fourth base. And he knows the fourth base is up, but seeing this drone saturation would be a good thing to know. And also clicking on the minerals to know how long that has been saturated. Gotta get an idea of what Rhett has, which is 112 drones. What? Holy crap, Rhett. I think you may have overproduced drones just a little bit. Over half your supply is drones. And now going to be getting spine cores to relieve some of that supply count. Phoenix coming in here like, oh my god, you are a little bit oversaturated, dude. Look at that saturation. Like, this is ideal. 2 rows. He's got 4 rows and then 2. So, definitely a little bit oversaturated. I would think, like, 10 of those drones are idle over at that one base, not doing too much, while this base doesn't have that good of saturation. So Rhett could work on that. This natural doesn't have the best either, so those drones could be split up and get a little bit more out of it. Going in this income, you can see Rhett 2,700 minerals per minute at times with so much gas. WhiteRa, though, with good saturation on all his bases, he doesn't have anywhere near that worker count. But you can see that his income wasn't really that far behind just because he has ideally saturated every base. While Rhett, he hasn't really done just that. So going back to the income, now that I said that, you can see, oh, maybe Rhett just fixed that. He is going up on 3k minerals. And it looks like, yes, he has fixed it. These bases now ideally saturated. And these are replays, so what do you know? As soon as I talk about that, Rhett notices it and fixes it and just gets so much income. It is absolutely ridiculous right now. Rhett getting another Spire up. This one's still up. It is a Greater Spire. Going to be going up into Broodlords. And now going to be going over into this one base on a hold position, trying to go where those cannons are not. Getting a few worker kills. He's only killed 8 probes this game. His run-bys have not been that successful. But what is Rhett's just banked up minerals. He is now hitting 200. Kind of delayed hitting 200 so he can morph more Broodlords, because you need a lot of broods apparently for Rhett. And theirs will be relatively well upgraded very quick. Working on that +1 flying carapace. Will get another Spire up to start that +2. Surprised he isn't getting another melee attack for those broodlings. And this is definitely going to be a little bit hard to deal with. But if Rhett kind of forgets about infestors, doesn't have all that many, only 6 infestors out. If he kind of forgets about them and morphs all the corruptors into broods, then those few void rays may just prove to be a royal pain. And of course, can't discount the Phoenix. WhiteRa, though, definitely has about the same size army. It doesn't look like WhiteRa's army is that big. I don't know where it all is. Looks like he may have some over as third, lifting up those infestors, trying to take them out. Stalker's now going to be blinking underneath these Broodlords, but they are not going down. Oh my god, I misclicked on those Broodlings. So many of them out. No more Stalkers. These Void Rays getting Fungal Growth. Now Infested Terrans are going out underneath of them, and WhiteRa's supply has just plummeted. So much income from Rhett right now, and still staying at 200 during this whole battle and baking up. There goes the GG by WhiteRa. And those were cannons. Where was his army? That just looked like a really small army. Did get the fleet beacon up, just did not have enough time. And researching Thermal Lance, really late Thermal Lance. Looks like he forgot that upgrade. Did he have anything else done? Looks like... Let's see, let's go back just to make sure it's not like glitched. Okay, no. Thermal Lance, he was just starting. He had a few Colossus out, so I think he did forget it. But, yeah, that Broodlord count was just phenomenal by Rhett so early in the game. It's like 18 minutes of the game, and he's already up to 10 broods. You do not let Rhett macro, and this is why. And let's just go on everyone cam real quick. And, let's see. You can see the army supply. Relatively even. Rhett's only ahead by 5 supply. Not the hugest of deals, right? Well, let's go into this army cost. So, Rhett's army cost, about, I'd say like 35% more gas, and about probably 10%, 13% more minerals. His army, like, his supply in his army is much bigger. It looks like Army supply, like food-wise, is identical, but Red's Army is so freaking expensive. All the broods, all the infestors, keep in mind those are at max energy, so that's as strong as they will ever get. And then you got a few corruptors just back there, just hanging out. And then you got, well, he doesn't have that much gas banked up, surprisingly, just a lot of minerals. Let's go look at Rhett's injects real quick. And I won't be doing too much analysis because this is a BO5, and it is like 10 p.m. right now, and I want to get these done today, so I'll be up pretty late casting these all. Going to the 10-minute mark, you do have 11.4 inject gap. End game, you can see he injected throughout the whole game, and this is what is impressive. 14.2 second inject gap, finishing the game off. Very nicely done. It is about a 20-minute game, but a lot of Zerg players kind of just give up on injects eventually. But Rhett, he did that throughout the entire game. Let's see. Anything else we can look at really quick, just to show you guys. Resources spent. You can see Rhett spending a lot more than WhiteRa. A ridiculous amount of hotkeys. That's not good. APM. Pause if you want to look at all the numbers. Builds tech strat. One warp. There was a warp prism out? Hopefully I didn't miss all that much. That's unfortunate. 3 Colossus, 2 Immortals. Ability groups. Not all that much. Let's go in the game real quick, look at worker count. WhiteRa didn't kill a single drone. So I'm going to say I didn't miss anything with that warp prism. But anyways, we will be going into game number 2. Rhett takes game 1 in convincing macro fashion. Stay tuned, and I hope